Okay, so the properties of solids are stuff we've already talked about. Particles are closely packed. What that gives us is solids are things with definite shapes, okay? If I have a square piece of wood, a cubic piece of wood, and a round cylinder that the cylinder diameter is the same as the width of my cube, I might be able to jam that cube into that round cylinder, but that cube is going to remain shaped like a cube, even though it's inside a cylinder. Unlike water, that if I took water in a square-shaped container and poured it into the round cylinder-shaped container, that water takes the shape of its container. Solids don't do that. They also have a definite volume, like liquids. As we've already talked about, they usually have high density and are quite incompressible. You can't smash them down to make them smaller volumes without a lot of effort. Solids also will experience something called melting, and that is the process by which a solid turns into a liquid. I'm sure you've seen this before. You can do this to solids by adding heat energy. When you do that, you cause the particles of the solid to move faster and therefore move farther apart. So they become less dense, turning into liquid. Although sometimes the liquid form of a substance is more dense than the solid form. Water is a good example of that. But mostly the solid form of a substance is more dense than its liquid form. Okay, because they will melt, they do have something called a melting point. And that melting point is just the temperature at which that solid becomes a liquid. This melting point is a definite characteristic for every different substance. Now, I'm not saying that every substance melts at the same temperature. I'm saying that every substance has its own melting point. And it doesn't matter how much of that substance you have to get that substance to that melting point to turn it into a liquid. All right, so that's what I mean by definite. And as I have discussed and alluded to a little bit before, solids will experience diffusion. But with solids, unlike with gases, gases are very quick, and unlike with liquids, liquids are less quick. With solids, it's very, very slow, okay? Solid particles will actually mix with each other given enough time, years and years and years of time, but diffusion can happen. Okay, that's an overview of the 3 states of matter.